Play this and I'll marry you. Tycoon laughs until the janitor, performing like a genius hall of the Grand Tech Tower, glowed with soft blue lights as people moved in and out of the evening event. At the center of the hall stood a stage made of clean metal sheets that reflected every movement. At the front row sat a well-known business tycoon named Rylan. He was known all over the city for his sharp mind, fearless attitude, and the way he built a huge empire from nothing. But what most people knew even more was that Rylan was famous for making bold jokes. He loved testing others. He loved saying things that made people laugh or feel challenged. That night the event was simple. It was meant to be a talent show among the workers of the Tech Tower. Rylan liked these events because they showed him who could think creatively. Even a small talent on stage could mean a sharp mind behind it. The tower was home to many scientists and engineers, but also to the people who kept the building running. Among those people was a quiet janitor named Leo. Leo kept to himself. Many barely noticed him. He moved from floor to floor with his cleaning cart, always finishing his work with care. He greeted people with a small smile, but never spoke much. What no one knew was that Leo loved music more than anything. When he finished cleaning late at night, he would sit in a storage room and work on old instruments he found in junk markets. He taught himself how to tune them. He learned how each note worked. Without any teacher, he developed a deep understanding of sound. The talent show had many performers. Some played guitars, some danced, others performed small magic tricks that made the crowd laugh. Rylan sat back, enjoying the simple entertainment. He had a reputation for always having a comment ready. When one engineer finished playing a short piece on a digital keyboard, Rylan laughed and said, "I hope the system is not as weak as that tune." The crowd laughed. Everyone knew he was joking, and the engineer laughed along. Then the host looked at the list and raised a brow. "Our next performer is Leo." People began whispering. Some were surprised that the janitor even signed up. Others tried to recall if they had ever heard him talk. Leo stepped onto the stage slowly. He wore the same simple uniform he always wore. In his hands he held a strange instrument. It looked like a mix of a small harp, keyboard, and strings made of glowing fiber. Rylan leaned forward. "What is that thing?" the host asked Leo. "Do you want to tell us about your instrument?" Leo shook his head gently. "I will just play." The crowd went quiet. The lights dimmed slightly, and a soft glow came from the strings. Rylan smirked. "If you can play something that impresses me, I will marry you." People laughed. They thought he was joking as usual. Even the host shook his head at the remark. Leo looked at Rylan for a moment. He did not smile or frown. He simply nodded once. Then he began. The first note was soft but clear, like a drop of water falling into a still pond. It echoed through the hall with a strange beauty. The second note rose and stretched across the room. Within seconds the hall felt different. People felt their breath slow, their hearts sensed to the rhythm. Leo's fingers moved smoothly across the glowing strings. The sounds blended into shapes that felt alive. Rylan blinked. The music carried a depth he had never heard before. It felt like the sound understood him. It felt like it reached inside him and found every moment of struggle he ever faced. Leo shifted the tune. The instrument answered with a warm tone that rose like sunlight breaking through clouds. People felt their eyes grow warm. Some felt tears forming without knowing why. The music did not just sound beautiful, it spoke. It told stories of pain, hope, and victory. No one expected this from a quiet janitor. The hall filled with a rising harmony. Leo kept his focus steady. He did not look at the crowd. He did not move his body much. He let his hands speak for him. The tune lifted higher until it felt like the whole tower was breathing. Then he brought it down gently. The last note trembled in the air, fading into silence. No one moved. No one even clapped at first. They were frozen. Then a wave of cheers filled the hall. People stood up. Some even shouted Leo's name with pure excitement. They had never heard anything like it. The talent show judges sat speechless. Engineers who worked on advanced sound systems felt confused about how that instrument made such a rich tone. Rylan did not stand. He stared at Leo with a stunned face. He realized he had made a bold joke without thinking, and now that joke hung in the air. Leo bowed politely and began walking off the stage. Rylan stood. "Wait!" Leo stopped. Rylan walked to the stage. His steps were slow, as if he was trying to understand what he just witnessed. When he reached Leo, he said, "That was beyond amazing. How did you learn to play like that?" Leo lowered his eyes. "I learned on my own. I used old instruments. I studied how sound speaks to people." Rylan could not believe it. With everything he had built, with all the advanced machines he worked with, He could never create something that touched the heart like this music did. He realized something deeper. The janitor he barely noticed held a gift that no machine could produce. People around the hall whispered. Some laughed softly. They remembered the joke he made before the performance. One person from the back shouted, "Rylan, you said you would marry him." The hall burst into laughter. Rylan rubbed his forehead. He had no idea the music would reach this level, but he also was not the type to back down. Still, he knew he had to respond wisely. He looked at Leo and said, "That was a figure of speech, but I will not ignore what you showed. I want to offer you something real. Come work with my innovation team. I want your mind. I want your talent. I want you to help shape the next level of sound technology." The hall went silent again. This was no small offer. The innovation team was famous for leading big advancements. Getting invited there was a life-changing moment. Leo looked unsure. The offer was huge. He never expected anything like this. Rylan continued, "I am serious. Your talent is stronger than anything I have seen. I want you to have the tools, the time, and the support to build something the world has never heard." Leo nodded slowly. "I will try." Rylan smiled. "Good. I knew you would say yes." The event ended with people talking non-stop about Leo. The next day, the whole company knew his name. For the first time, he entered a room where people looked at him with respect. The innovation team welcomed him with excitement. They wanted to know how he learned about sound. They wanted him to teach them what he knew. Days passed. Leo began working with advanced tools. He discovered ways to shape sound that impressed even the top engineers. He designed new instruments. He built small devices that could change mood with soft tones. Rylan visited the lab every day to see his progress. Rylan found himself feeling inspired by the janitor's simple but deep mind. He learned that greatness does not always come from someone loud. Sometimes it comes from someone quiet who thinks differently. Leo grew more confident. He talked more. He explained how sound could heal stress or help people focus. He created a sound sphere that floated in mid-air and released calm notes that helped workers relax. He made a rhythm pad that followed the heartbeat of the person holding it. Each idea stunned the team. One evening, Rylan walked into the lab and found Leo adjusting the glowing strings of his original instrument. Rylan asked, "Can you play again?" Leo nodded. He played a soft tune. This one was peaceful and simple. Rylan closed his eyes and listened. The music washed over him. When Leo finished, Rylan said, "You changed this place. You changed me." Leo smiled slightly. "Music does that," Rylan laughed. "And to think I once joked about marrying you," Leo replied. "People say many things before they understand someone." Rylan nodded. "True. But I understand now. You deserve every chance to grow, and I will support you." From that moment, they worked together on many new projects. Leo's creativity shaped the future of sound tech in the tower. People all over the city spoke about the quiet janitor who changed the way sound was understood. Years later, the tower held another evening event to celebrate new inventions. Leo stood at the center beside Rylan. The hall was full again. The same soft lights glowed around them. Rylan spoke to the crowd. "When we first met, I made a joke, but he played something that changed my entire idea of human potential. And today he is the heart of our innovation." Leo received a standing ovation. He raised his instrument and played a short, soft tune that wrapped the hall in warm comfort. Humanity is great not just because of machines or wealth. It is great because of people like Leo. People who think deeply. People who create beauty with their hands. In that moment, everyone understood something. A simple janitor rose to the top not because of luck, but because he carried a hidden genius. And a powerful tycoon learned that true greatness can come from anywhere. Together they shaped a future filled with sound that touched the human heart.